She is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist, standing at 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 124 1/4 pounds. She stands undefeated with 3 victories, coming by way of stoppage. Fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, here is Katherine "The Animal" Corogenes.
With a club and a right hand.
Oh, one, big one. Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hand of face.
Katherine Corogenes had something to say, and she said it out loud. She said it proudly, and she said it with full confidence.
Failed debut featured a lot of clinch work so far, all out from distance. Oh, right hand. And there's the clinch.
Before her PFL clash with Dakota Ditcheva, Corogenes stepped in front of the cameras and fired off one of the boldest pre-fight messages we've seen all year. She said, and we quote, "I felt like I was ready for something bigger because I was just walking through these girls. So I want that challenge. I want that hard fight. I want to have to brawl and bang. And I'm ready for that. I respect her Muay Thai. I respect her record. There's definitely a lot of hype around her. They're definitely promoting her. She's, long, tall, beautiful blonde. But I don't believe she's ever been dragged into deep waters before. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. People have been telling me my whole life, my whole career, oh, maybe you can't. I'm the underdog, and I thrive off of it. I live it. Like, I love to crush dreams, so let's go."
I felt like I was ready for something bigger because I was just walking through these girls. So I want that challenge. I want that hard fight. I want to have to brawl and bang. And I'm ready for that. And I think after the first 3 that were kind of just, yeah, of course. I respect her Muay Thai. I respect her record. There's definitely a lot of hype around here. They're definitely promoting her. She's, long, tall, beautiful blonde. But I don't believe she's ever been dragged into deep waters before. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And so, people have been telling me my whole life, my whole career, oh, maybe you can't, underdog. And I thrive off of it. I live it. Like, I love to crush dreams. So let's go.
Bold, confidence, fearless. But Dakota Ditcheva, she wasn't rattled, not even a little. She fired back with the kind of calm that should have been a warning sign for Corogenes. Dakota responded, "I expect a tough fight. I feel like both are game. My game all around is really good. Her game all around is good. So I feel like it's going to be a really good matchup. But then again, I've said that before and it ended quite short. I 100% believe in my ability and feel like it's not going to last too long."
But what she didn't know was the storm waiting for her inside the cage.
I'm going to say I expect a tough fight. I feel like both our games, like my game all around is really good. Her game all around is good. So I feel like it's going to be a really good matchup. But then again, I feel like I've said that before and it's ended quite short. So I 100% believe in my ability and feel like, it's not going to be, it's not going to last too long.
And then on social media, Dakota added one more message that said everything without saying much at all, posting on Twitter that people can talk all they want, because when the cage door closes, talkers get exposed. As Dakota herself put it, "I just kind of get in the cage and prove to myself that they're all just talkers."
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, I listened to so many people talking like throughout this whole tournament. It's nice to get in the cage and showcase my skills and shut them up that way, because I'm not really bothered about like proving them wrong. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of get in the cage and prove to myself that they're all just talkers. Yes.
2 women, 2 very different energies. One outcome that left the entire USA speechless. This is the full breakdown of Katherine Corogenes versus Dakota Ditcheva. Stay with us, because this one gets brutal fast. Katherine Corogenes is not your average opponent. She came into this fight with a reputation built on aggression, toughness, and a never-back-down mentality. She had powered through her earlier fights with a physical, forward-moving style, and she believed Dakota would be no different.
Ditcheva has relocated her camp to Coconut Creek, American Top Team. Conan Silveira is in her corner, as is her brother, an accomplished kickboxer himself, Cody Ditcheva.
Her plan was simple. Get in close, get physical, drag Dakota into deep water, and watch her drown. She genuinely believed that Dakota had never faced someone with her level of pressure, her level of experience, and her willingness to make it an ugly brawl. And for a moment, at least on paper, that logic didn't sound completely wrong.
Staying on that body, which is exactly where she wants to be in that Muay Thai clinch.
Yeah, Ditcheva doing a great job of getting those underhooks as well. Now trying to push the arm, and she will land knees with the quickness. Saw in her last fight dropping her opponent with a knee to the body, finishing the fight. Here she is on top.
But plans and cages are two very different things. Dakota Ditcheva is British-Bulgarian, trained in Muay Thai, and at this point in her career, completely undefeated. And not just undefeated, dominant. Convincingly, brutally, undeniably dominant. Her striking is elite. Her composure under pressure is elite. And her ability to find the finish, whether it's a right hand, an elbow, or a combination, is becoming one of the most feared weapons in women's MMA.
Plum and a right hand.
Another one, big one. Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hammer fake. Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva.
Every opponent who has stepped into the cage with Dakota thinking they had an answer has walked out the same way, looking up at the lights, wondering what just happened. Corogenes would be no different. From the opening bell, Dakota Ditcheva was in total control. She came out calm, upright, and calculated, moving with that signature Muay Thai stance that is both beautiful and terrifying to face.
Very hard on that.
Yes, very good. Watch the arm, very good.
Sweep attempt there from Corogenes.
Yeah, it looks like she was either trying to go for a sweep or an arm lock attempt, and Dakota did a good job of getting that shin pin there.
More hammer fist from the top.
Corogenes, to her credit, came forward just like she promised. She pushed the pace, looked to close the distance, and tried to make it physical early. But she quickly realized she wasn't dealing with just another opponent. She was dealing with a different level of precision. Dakota began probing with stabbing front kicks and stiff jabs. Not wild, not reckless. Just sharp, calculated shots designed to control range and force Corogenes to react. Every time Corogenes tried to initiate, Dakota was already a step ahead.
Dakota Ditcheva.
She's trying to the middle.
Very good kick.
In and out, in and out.
Who's the cage? Who's the cage? Who's the cage?
Lovely.
Very good. Move away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice work by Katherine Corogenes to catch one of those front kicks from Dakota Ditcheva, but then excellent counter wrestling from Ditcheva.
About a minute into the round, Dakota started landing. A solid body kick backed Corogenes up. Then a clean right hand snapped her head back. Corogenes tried to close the distance and clinch, to slow things down, to survive the storm. But Dakota shrugged her off effortlessly and returned right back to her range. That's when it started to unravel for Corogenes. Dakota landed a clean right hook, left body shot combination that visibly hurt her. The combination was sharp, heavy, and it showed on Corogenes' face immediately. She backed toward the cage wall, and that was the moment Dakota smelled the finish.
Staying, keeping her back against the fence.
There's a plum and a right hand.
Another one, big one. Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a...
She pressed forward, she threw a flurry, she was precise, she was relentless, and she was inevitable. A powerful right hand dropped Corogenes to the canvas. Dakota wasted no time. She followed her down with brutal ground and pound shots, and the referee had seen enough. TKO, first round, it was over. The arena went silent in the way that only happens when something truly shocking unfolds in front of you. Katherine Corogenes, the woman who promised to drag Dakota into deep water, had been finished in the very first round. The Dream Crusher had her own dream crushed. The trash talk was over. The bravado was gone. And Dakota? She stood there the way she always does. Calm, focused, victorious. No drama, no taunting, just results.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner tonight, making her professional debut, representing Phoenix MMA. Please welcome Perry Ison.
From Dakota there.
Yeah, Dakota just spinning back elbow just missed, and this is the thing, and another, and a knee,
straight across,
and another elbow, and another.
That's opened up a cut on Ison's head. Big back elbow.
No.
Perry Ison, the very first professional opponent of Dakota Ditcheva, has just sent a massive bombshell message. She said, "It's really good. Whatever comes my way, I just say yes. The end goal is to just be the best at what I can do. Wherever that may be, just be the best."
It's real good.
So what do you think's next for you? Anyone on your mind or anything on your mind?
Anything really, anything. I always say whatever comes my way, I just say yes. I mean,
what's the end goal?
The end goal is to just be the best at what I can do. Yeah, wherever that may be, just be the best.
And Dakota Ditcheva did not stay silent. She fired back immediately. Dakota said, "I'm just going to watch the fighters fight their first round of the tournament. It's not often that I go to shows where I'm not weight cutting and getting in the cage myself. There's one fight still left to do in my division, which we'll be fighting tomorrow night. So I'm excited to see the two girls battle it out.
I'm just going to watch the fighters basically fight their first round of the tournament, which I'm excited to be here and not be fighting. You know, it's not often that I go to shows where I'm not weight cutting and getting in the cage myself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's one fight still left to do in my division, which we'll be fighting tomorrow night. So I'm excited to see the two girls fight.
And if that was not enough, Dakota also went to Twitter and sent a message that stopped the entire MMA world in its tracks. 2 fighters, 2 messages, 1 massive story. Carrie Isom versus Dakota Ditcheva. Not inside the cage this time, but in the media. And trust me, the words being thrown are just as sharp as the punches. Stay with us until the very end because you do not want to miss a single second of this.
Carrie thinks she's seen something that she can exploit the first time.
Yeah, I think it's the sole of Dakota's foot. Several times. Big push kick again. Really working well for Dakota. That one straight through the middle. And already marking up her opponent's face.
Big knee.
Before we get into what was said and what it all means, let's remind ourselves who Carrie Isom is and why her words carry weight in this conversation. Carrie Isom was the opponent Dakota Ditcheva faced in her very first professional MMA fight. The bout took place at Celtic Gladiator 30 on September 12th, 2021. Carrie came into that fight with full confidence, complete belief that she would walk out with a victory against this unknown newcomer. She was experienced, she was determined, and she was not taking Dakota lightly at all.
Comes from good grappling stuff with Jimmy Johnson there in the corner.
But in the clinch, Dakota, the knees, the elbows. This young lady likes to strike.
But what happened inside that cage told a completely different story. Dakota Ditcheva, calm and composed from the very first bell, controlled the entire fight. Sharp combinations, precise footwork, relentless pressure. Carrie barely had a clean answer for any of it. With just 11 seconds left in the first round, Dakota landed a clean right hand followed by a devastating flurry that left Carrie completely unable to defend herself. The referee stepped in and stopped the fight at 4 minutes and 49 seconds of round 1.
Around the face, Carrie, but I've got to give this woman props. She stepped in the cage already with Dakota. She knows what she's getting into, and she feels she can do something different this time.
Yeah, close the distance, wants to shoot for the legs so she doesn't eat too many of those knees. Punishing knees in the clinch from Dakota there.
Dakota Ditcheva, winner by TKO. Her professional career had officially begun, and it began with a statement. Now here is what makes this story even more interesting. Carrie Isom is not just any fighter who lost and disappeared into the background. She is someone who has continued to grind, continued to compete, and continued to push herself in this sport. She has taken every loss as a lesson, and every win as fuel. The fact that she is still in the conversation, still talking about being the best, still pushing forward after being stopped by one of the most talented fighters on the planet, that tells you everything you need to know about her character. This is a fighter with heart, a fighter with pride, and a fighter who clearly has not forgotten that night at Celtic Gladiator 30. That memory drives her every single day, and now she has made sure the whole world knows it.
Dakota just spinning back elbow, just missed. And this is the thing. And another! And a knee!
Straight across
and another elbow! And another!
That's opened up a cut on Isom's head. Big back elbow.
No quitting Isom at all as she throws back, though.
Yeah, still coming forward. Dakota
trying again.
Now on the surface, those words might sound humble, but in the context of MMA, coming from a fighter who was stopped by Dakota Ditcheva in round 1 of her professional debut, this statement carries enormous weight. Carrie is essentially sending a message to Dakota and to the entire division, that she is not done, that she is still hungry, that she is still coming. She is not mentioning Dakota by name. She does not have to. Everyone in this sport knows exactly who she is talking about when she says she wants to be the best. This is a fighter who lost to the champion and is still grinding, still pushing, still believing she can reach the top. And that kind of mentality is dangerous for anyone in a competitive division.
Kind of like watching the the US Open final last night.
And Isom is slinging some leverage, coming in, closing the distance.
Wow, she's swinging hard and swinging angry now because she needs, big knee! And another!
Dakota is not even focused on Carrie Isom. She is not worried. She is not rattled. She is sitting ringside at a tournament, completely relaxed, enjoying the show, watching other fighters compete while she rests comfortably at the top of the mountain. She does not need to call anyone out. She does not need to make threats. She is simply saying, I am the champion, I am unbothered, and when it is time to fight, I will fight. But Dakota was not finished. She also took to Twitter and sent a message to the entire MMA world. And the post immediately went viral. Supporters flooded the replies, fellow fighters took notice, media outlets picked up the story, and suddenly Carrie Isom's original message looked even bolder, because now the entire world was watching this back and forth play out in real time.
Slides that knee across. See how she's trapping her legs at the same time.
Stepping over now, and again, just the hat. Is she going to slide that knee over the belly into the mount?
I can foresee some elbows coming potentially from this position. Punches for Dakota, raining down. Carrie really needs to improve her position.
No, referee's seen enough of Dakota Ditcheva.
This is the power of social media in modern combat sports. A fighter does not need a press conference or a formal call-out to start a rivalry anymore. A single post, a single quote, a single interview clip. And within hours, the whole community is buzzing. Both Carrie and Dakota understand this. They both know how to work the narrative. And right now, whether intentional or not, they have created one of the most compelling storylines in women's MMA. This is what happens when two fighters, even those not currently scheduled to meet in a rematch, start exchanging words publicly. The narrative builds, the tension grows, and fans start dreaming about what a second fight could look like.
She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at presenting the reigning, defending of the world, Amanda.
Her bad. Nunes said she could knock her out. We're seeing that now it's real. Oh, she's hurt her Nunes. She's still got her down. She's nearly out on her feet.
Amanda Nunes is the one opponent Dakota Ditcheva has never had to deal with, and that matters. The MMA world loves to hype Ditcheva's spotless 15-0 record and her PFL championship run, but that success came at a very convenient time. Amanda Nunes, the greatest female fighter ever, was already gone. With the division's final boss retired, the danger level dropped significantly. Dakota's rise may be impressive, but it happened without facing the one woman who would have truly tested whether she belongs at the very top.
Oh, Nunes! Oh, she's a trap double! She hurt her!
An undefeated champion's reign could be in serious jeopardy. A legend thought to be retired has returned, and a collision course between two worlds is being set. This is not speculation. This is not hype. This is the reality check the combat sports world needs to hear right now.
Oh, Nunes was... Huge head kick for Nunes! Holy shit! Amanda Nunes, the queen of the jungle!
But now a storm is brewing on the horizon. The Brazilian legend who rewrote the rulebook on dominance has officially ended her retirement. Amanda Nunes is back, and with her return, Dakota Ditcheva's undefeated run and possibly her entire career trajectory is suddenly in serious danger. If their paths collide, it could change everything. On June 5, 2025, the MMA world stopped. Amanda Nunes, after 2 years in retirement, announced her comeback. But this isn't just any fighter returning. This is the woman who held 2 UFC championships simultaneously. This is the fighter who defended titles across 2 divisions while holding both. This is the only multi-division champion in UFC history to retire with both belts.
Do I think Amanda Nunes fights again? She just said yes.
And question for Kayla. There you go.
Which means that me booing her in Canada was right because I knew that she was retiring too early, just like Dana said, and just like you guys are all seeing. She's not done. She's just sitting there in the sidelines to see what happens because she didn't want to fight that trilogy fight like I was asking for.
In her own words, Nunes said, "I just want to fight again. I decided to come back for something that I really enjoy. That's why I left for 2 years, because I didn't want to be burned out. I got the rest that I needed."
I just want to fight again. I decided to come back for something that I really enjoy to be in. Honestly, that's why I left for 2 years, because I don't want to be burned out. I got the rest that I need and everything.
Let me put this in perspective. Nunes has an 88.9% win rate in the UFC, one of the highest in the organization's history. She's scheduled to fight for the Bantamweight Championship against Kayla Harrison on January 24, 2026 at UFC 324. But here's where it gets interesting for Dakota Ditcheva. Nunes fights at bantamweight, 135 pounds. Ditcheva is the flyweight queen at 125 pounds. That's just one weight class difference in MMA. And in this sport, that's close enough to make a super fight very, very real. But why should Ditcheva be concerned? Let's break down the threat level. Amanda Nunes doesn't just beat opponents, she erases legacies. Let me list the names she's conquered. Ronda Rousey, finished in 48 seconds. Chris Cyborg, knocked out in 51 seconds. Holly Holm, knocked out in round 1. Valentina Shevchenko, beaten twice. Miesha Tate, defeated. Germaine de Randamie, beaten twice. Juliana Pena, avenged her only recent loss. Raquel Pennington, dominated.
Nunes' hands are down, and she's walking Ronda down. She tagged her again. Over and over. Amanda Nunes. Big she's stunned. That's it. That's it. It's over. Wow.
Oh, Nunes was. Oh! Huge head kick for Nunes. Amanda Nunes, the queen of the jungle. Whoa.
That's 8 current or former UFC champions she's defeated. 8. The numbers speak for themselves. Ronda Rousey, 7 knockouts, the record for most knockouts in UFC women's history. 12 consecutive wins, the most in UFC women's history. 3,940 days, the longest combined title reign of all time.
When you get hit behind the ear like a...
She hurt. Under a minute here to go round 1.
Good one by Juliana. Full approach from Amanda. She looks... I don't believe that's smart. Better for Juliana Pena. There by the champion.
Pretty good response late in the round. Fire!
Both women landed in that exchange.
But here's what should terrify any opponent. Nunes has never been dominated. Her 5 losses came early in her career. Since 2016, when she won her first title, she's only lost once, a submission to Juliana Pena, which she immediately avenged in dominant fashion. Dakota Ditcheva is undefeated, yes, but she's never faced anyone remotely close to Amanda Nunes' caliber. Now let's talk about fighting styles, because this is where things get really interesting. Dakota Ditcheva is a striker. She's got 12 knockout wins out of 15 fights. Her Muay Thai background makes her dangerous with knees and kicks. She's fast, technical, and at 26 years old, she's in her prime.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans, future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos
is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
But Amanda Nunes, she's a complete fighter. Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, brown belt in Judo, world-class boxing, devastating power. She doesn't have a weakness. Standing up, she's knocked out the most feared strikers in the sport. On the ground, she's submitted opponents. The size difference that might protect Ditcheva. Nunes has already proven she can move between weight classes and dominate. Ditcheva's striking might be elite, but Nunes has stood across from Chris Cyborg, one of the most feared punchers ever, and knocked her out cold. She faced Valentina Shevchenko, one of the most technical strikers in MMA, and beat her twice. The question isn't if Nunes could match Ditcheva's striking, it's whether Ditcheva could survive Nunes' power and experience. Let's address the elephant in the room: experience. Dakota Ditcheva has 15 professional fights. Amanda Nunes has 28. Ditcheva has won a PFL tournament, an incredible achievement, but Nunes has defended UFC titles 8 times across 2 divisions. Ditcheva has never been to a decision loss, never been submitted, never been knocked out. That's impressive, but that's also because she's never faced someone who could do that to her. Nunes has been in 5-round wars. She's fought through adversity. She's been hurt and came back to win. She's experienced every possible scenario in a fight. In June 2023, Nunes retired as champion, undefeated in her final run. She's been training, staying sharp, and now she's coming back hungrier than ever. Age hasn't slowed down fighters like Daniel Cormier or Randy Couture, and Nunes might be even more dangerous with the wisdom she's gained. Ditcheva is young, hungry, and talented. But Nunes is the final boss, the ultimate test that nobody has passed in their prime. So could we actually see this fight? Here's the reality. If Nunes beats Kayla Harrison and reclaims the bantamweight title, she becomes a 2-time 2-division champion for the 2nd time. At that point, what's left to prove except moving across divisions again? Nunes herself has said, "I love to crush dreams." She's going to be surprised when I hit her the first time. I don't think she's been hit hard. If you compare my fighting experience, it's huge. Those aren't just words. That's a warning. Dakota Ditcheva is a phenomenal fighter, building an impressive legacy. But legends aren't built by avoiding the toughest tests. They're built by facing them. Amanda Nunes is back. And whether this fight happens in 2026 or beyond, one thing is certain: if Dakota Ditcheva wants to be considered among the greatest of all time, she'll eventually have to go through the woman who already holds that title. The question isn't if they should fight. The question is, when they do, will the world be ready for what happens next? This has been your reality check. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.
Introducing first, fighting out of the corner of the country artist, holding professional record, 15 wins, 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighed in at 124 and 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of the corner of New Mexico. He's a champion and flyweight contender in the world, the challenger.
One of those big improvements was making that move to 125. Oh, Alexa caught her with that right hand. Oh!
Huge connection from Grosso. Oh, nice little body shot there from Kim. And a return leg kick, man. Getting after it here.
Oh, leading the dance there.
Yeah,
nice connection.
Oh, nice right hand.
Right hook. 2 minutes, round 2.
Araujo in her last fight, so no doubt it's a read.
And Grosso
starting to sit on these punches a bit. Yeah.
Now, granted, given to you, and the judges are now looking at that like, okay, not only are we at a different spot, but you are effectively scoring. Wow.
UFC flyweight champion Alexa Grasso has just sent a message that's got everyone talking. And Dakota Ditcheva? Well, she fired back hard. Alexa Grasso, the current UFC flyweight champion, recently spoke about Dakota Ditcheva in an interview. And what she said has the MMA world buzzing. Grasso said, and I quote, "Well, I think she has one of the best buddies in the MMA, and I really wanted to have one like that. I'm still working on that. But it's amazing, you know, because she's a veteran. And I saw her fights, and when I didn't fight in a long time, I was like, wow, those girls are amazing. And now to fight, I'm fighting with her. It's a pleasure, and it's really a blessing for me."
Well, I think she has one of the best bodies in the MMA, and I really wanted to have one like that. I'm still working on that, but it's amazing, you know, because she's a veteran, and I saw her fights, and I was when I didn't fight in a big time, I was like, whoa, those girls are amazing, and now I'm fighting with her. It's a pleasure, and it's really a blessing for me.
Now, on the surface, this sounds respectful, right? Alexa's showing admiration for Dakota's team and her skills. But here's the thing. When a UFC champion starts talking about fighting you, even with respect, it's a challenge. And Dakota Ditcheva? She's not the type to back down. Dakota Ditcheva wasted absolutely no time responding, and her message was pure confidence. Listen to what she said. "People see that when I win this season now, and say I beat someone like Liz Carmouche and Talia Santos. As soon as I beat them, I think what else can people expect other than greatness for the rest of the year? Yeah, and you've got to be like that, and it's about time that I actually believe in what I can do." But she didn't stop there. Dakota went on, "I think people say to me, oh, she's not fought this person, she's not fought that person. Well, or they say to me, she's running through all these girls because they're not very good. But if you put these girls against other people, they have close fights. Whereas when you put them with me, I finish them early. So I make it look easy sometimes."
When I win this season now, and I say I beat someone like Liz Carmouche and Talia Santos, as soon as I've beat them, I think, what else can people expect other than greatness for the rest of the year? Yeah. Right. Yeah, and you've got to be like that, and it's about time that I actually believe in what I can do. I think people say to me, oh, she's not fought this person, she's not fought that person. Well, or they say to me, she's running through all these girls because they're not very good. But if you put these girls against other people, they have close fights. Whereas when you put them with me, I finish them early. So I make it look easy sometimes.
Boom, that's not just confidence. That's a fighter who knows she's special. Dakota is basically saying, I don't just beat people, I make elite fighters look ordinary. That's the championship mentality right there.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans, future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos
is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
And if that wasn't enough, Dakota took to Twitter to make sure her message was crystal clear. She posted a statement that's got fight fans going absolutely crazy. While we can't share the exact tweet here, sources close to the situation say Dakota made it very clear. She's ready for anyone, including Alexa Grasso. She's not intimidated by the UFC champion's pedigree, and she believes when the time comes she'll prove exactly why she's being called the future of women's MMA.
Against defense with body shots.
Then the nation again punching her way out of these clinches.
Three there, three on the inside. 1 4 3 on the inside.
Inaba not able to match speed on the outside.
Crashing in again. Oh, beautiful knee. Oh, the clinch is really working for Ditcheva. She gets the turn, and the knee finds its way to the face of Sumiko Inaba, and an elbow from Dakota.
Inaba can't take a lot of those knees.
This Twitter exchange has fight fans divided. Some are Team Grasso, pointing to her championship experience and that incredible victory over Valentina Shevchenko. Others are Team Ditcheva, saying she's the young hungry lion ready to take over. So let's break down what makes this potential matchup so fascinating. First, you've got Alexa Grasso, a proven UFC champion who shocked the world by defeating one of the greatest female fighters ever in Valentina Shevchenko. Alexa's technical boxing, her composure under pressure, and her championship experience are undeniable. She's been there, done that, and has the belt to prove it.
Next we move to the women's strong division.
She's an impressive young lady. I mean, she really believes in the character aspect of this sport and having honor, having integrity, having respect for your opponent. Really wants to be that kind
at
of
116 pounds, fighting out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Alexa Grasso.
Then you have Dakota Ditcheva, the rising star who's absolutely demolishing everyone put in front of her. With her Muay Thai background, her devastating striking, and her ability to finish fights early, Dakota represents the new generation. She's young, hungry, and fighting like she's got nothing to lose and everything to prove. The question everyone's asking is, what happens when championship experience meets explosive youth? Alexa has fought the absolute best in the world. She knows how to handle pressure, how to adjust mid-fight, and how to survive when things get tough. That's something you can't teach. You have to earn it through battles.
Grasso doing such a good job with the movement, getting in and out, and not taking too much damage.
Well, I think the difference is the way she's using technique in the clinch. It's not like a physical strength issue, it's technique. As my jiu-jitsu coach, John.
But Dakota, she's been finishing fighters so quickly and so dominantly that people are running out of ways to describe her performances. Her striking is crisp, her timing is perfect, and she has this killer instinct that you rarely see. If this fight happens, it could be speed and power versus technique and experience. Dakota would likely try to push the pace, use her range, and overwhelm Alexa early. Alexa would probably look to weather the storm, use her footwork, and drag Dakota into deep waters, where championship experience matters most. Here's the reality. This fight isn't officially booked yet, and there are some hurdles to overcome. Dakota is currently dominating in the PFL, while Alexa is defending her UFC title. They're in different organizations, fighting in potentially different weight classes. But cross-promotional super fights have happened before, and with the buzz this exchange has created, you better believe promoters are paying attention.
Plum and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hand of face! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
For now, Dakota needs to keep doing what she's doing, destroying opponents and building her resume. Alexa needs to continue defending her UFC title and proving she's the best in the world. But make no mistake, these two fighters are on a collision course. Whether it happens in 2026, 2027, or beyond, this is a fight that MMA fans need to see. The respect is there, the competitive fire is there, and most importantly, both women believe they would win. So there you have it, fight fans. Alexa Grasso sends a respectful but competitive message. Dakota Ditcheva fires back with pure confidence. And now we wait to see if this fantasy fight becomes a reality. Who do you think wins this matchup? Are you Team Grasso with her championship experience, or Team Ditcheva with her explosive finishing ability? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I want to hear from you.